Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Walking God's Purpose podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Lorna, and with me, as usual, we have Monique,
Hi.
and we have a very special guest with us today. We have Estrella.
Praise God. Hello.
So Estrella is a RN and an ND, and she will get into that a little more later on in the episode. Uh, but we just wanted to let you know that we've missed you guys. We know we have taken a little break, but there's a reason to it. Like I always tell my students, there's method to our madness. So all our episode following this one, we are going to have guest speakers. So you know that a couple of our episodes before had to do with health, and Monique and I constantly kept saying, we are not in the medical field. We are not in the medical field. So you know what we did? We went out and we got some people in the medical field. So the rest of the episode will be having different individuals with different pathway in and around the medical field or the health field in general. So because of that, it took a little while for us to get back to it because we have to work with people's schedule. And because of that, we may take another break or here or there, maybe a week or 2 weeks. Again, we have to work with people's schedule. So just bear with us. We missed you and we appreciate you tuning in. So I just wanted to clear the air and just put that out there. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Monique.
Okay, thank you. So we've been talking about the body or Christian behavior and what we put in the body. So tonight specifically, Estrella is going to share with us about medication or natural remedies that we can use. A little background about Estrella. Estrella Delgadillo, I'm destroying it. So Estrella, forgive me and pronounce it correctly when it's your turn. ND has a profound commitment to promoting holistic health and wellness. Her extensive educational background include a doctorate in naturopathy, a master's degree in natural science, and a bachelor's in nursing. And it reflects her dedication to understanding and addressing the complexities of the human health. As a friend, she is humble, she's kind, she definitely pays attention to people. That's my part, but if you, I'm sure she's going to share more about herself. So Estrella, I'm going to stop talking and turn it over to you. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say hello to everyone, and thank you, Dr. Lorna and Monique, for allowing me to be here and to share my testimony with everyone. And I would like to speak about what natural medicine is and what it is not, and then also to share some things that everyone can use or do in the times that we're living in right now. So my testimony is, which is quite interesting, is in 2013, I had a plummeting health issue, and the doctors couldn't tell me what was going on with me. So I would find myself in the emergency room several times a week. And the doctors would only tell me that we can't tell you what it is, but we know what it's not. So where does that leave me? That leaves me nowhere. So what I had to do is to basically try to find out the root causes for myself. And that made me end up going to a little town in Tennessee called Clifton, Tennessee, where I met this naturopathic doctor, and he basically nursed me back to health in his home. It was a one-on-one care. And while I was there, I was so excited because all the years that I've been in the medical field, I've never seen anything like that, because he was the doctor, he was the nurse, he was the lab tech, he had microscopes out, and he was just doing all types of tests, and I was just learning new things, to the point that I was so inquisitive that he actually kind of got upset with me, because I was too busy looking through the books, and he said, "I'm here to take care of you. You're not supposed to be studying." But I'm telling you, that was a journey that I had, that led me into going into naturopathic medicine, because I've been in the medical field since high school, and I just never heard anything like that. And also, I was dependent upon the system in which I worked. And because of that, I was looking for the answers with the doctors that I went to all the other doctors that I work with and asked them to help me, and no one could seem to help me. But the natural remedies with seeking God and prayer is what brought the healing back towards me. So I'm so thankful for God. I had an incident where I had the reflux disease, and I wasn't able to lie down to go to sleep for 2 years. And I just remember that I prayed to God. It was continuous. I said, "Lord, please, can I lay down?" And it wasn't until 2 years later. And the reason why I bring that up is it's because natural medicine is a progressive therapy. I like to call it a therapy, um, because it entails not just one thing, and it's not a one size fit all uh, group of medicine. You have to actually do a comprehensive history with your clients or patients, so that you can actually find the root cause for those specific patients, because you can have 4 people with a high blood pressure, but the root cause is different in each one. So there's no one size fit all. Also, you have to be patient with natural medicines, because most of the times it's things that we are doing to our body, and we've been doing it for years. And I'm thinking like 10 or more years that we've been abusing certain principles of the body, that it leads to an illness. And to reverse that or improve your body to uh, reverse those symptoms that you're having, in order to do that, it's going to take time and it's going to take patience. And also, I like to emphasize that we should seek God for healing. When it's time, when you have an incident where you like to look for healing, the healing comes from God. It doesn't come from any medical person. I don't care what type of initial you have behind your name. Healing comes from God and God alone.
Amen.
And it makes me think about the story of King Asa, who the Bible tells us that he went and he sought he sought the physicians, and that's in Second Chronicles 16:12. It says, "In Asa, in the 39th year of his reign, he was diseased in his feet until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to the Lord, but to the physicians." So this is a very important um, lesson here for all of us, is if we believe that God is our creator, then that creator has an owner's manual, which in which we should keep our bodies. And when we do things that violate the actual health principles, then we find ourselves sick. And we have to know, in order to get a healing, we have to go to God. We have to seek God. And it's, but what I'm not saying is don't go to your physician and get checked out. Yes, that's exactly what you still need to do. Some people think that when you are seeking natural healing, that you you never go to your primary care physician or the doctor to learn about anything else. But yes, it's traditional medicine is good for some things. I mean, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with going to the doctor and getting an X-ray to see what's inside, or get some lab work done. So that can give you more information, because that's clues. Those are clues to find out what the root cause is toward your uh, condition that you're experiencing at the time. So it's definitely important to seek God first. And then you want to also realize that it's going to take time, because some people, when they start natural remedies, they say, oh, this is not working. But it's not really that it's not working. You have to give it some time. And in my case, I had to wait 2 years for
Wow.
those symptoms of reflux to go completely away so that I can lie down. Did I stop? No. I kept doing it because I knew that it works. So
Mhm.
I believe that God is the total healer of the body. And I also truly believe that the body will heal itself. Why? Because God designed it that way. But we have to reverse those things, or remove those things that we do to the body, so that the body can repair itself.
Okay.
And through this experience that I had with my health plummeting, uh, the way I was able to help my body recover is to go through these 3 steps of what I call the 3 R's. The
Okay,
first one
Estrella,
is yes,
just before you get into those 3 R's, I really wanted to re-emphasize something. I just felt
Mhm.
like I
yes,
don't know, maybe the Holy Spirit want the listeners to hear it again, but you said something and it just clicked when you talked about how it's not a
10 years.
one size, that too, and I'll give Monique a
Okay.
chance to talk about what stood out to her, because I think the Holy Spirit is speaking differently. Uh, but you said it's not a one size fit all, like in terms of medication, and you're like, you have to know the person. You said because what is causing high blood pressure for one person may be different for another person. So basically, you tailor whatever natural remedy for the high blood pressure to the patient, figuring out what is causing the high blood pressure. And I thought that was amazing, because as far as I understand, my mom has high blood pressure, and I know other people with high blood pressure. They just
Same
write you a
medication.
prescription for everybody who has high blood pressure. There might be different brands or something, maybe a little different in this or a little different in that. But for the most part, it just seems like there is just a prescription for high blood pressure. And regardless of what is causing your high blood pressure and your high blood pressure, you just get a prescription for high blood pressure,
A band-aid.
a band-aid
yes.
essentially. And I just thought it was amazing when you said you find what may be for one person might be different. So you find out like the root cause and then tailor what you need to the person. And I thought, like, that is actually amazing. That seems to me to be the way it ought to be done. So
Common sense.
yes, common sense.
Yes.
So I just wanted to, because you said it and it stood out to me, and I just didn't want the listeners to miss that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to re-emphasize it. Monique, you had something to say before she gets into our 3 R's.
I don't want to stop her, but because I thought you were going to emphasize something else, but it's okay. She can continue.
Okay.
It's okay if you want to share what you were gonna
No,
say. That's okay.
I just like the idea. We live in this world of quick fixes, which is why we typically go for the medication, because it does give us a quick relief. But we have to know that the natural remedy requires time. We took several years destroying the body. It's not going to repair itself over time in one night. So we need to give it some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and with the natural medicine, or it's God's pharmacy actually,
Mhm.
because he put those herbs in the ground for us to be able to have the healing. And it's not that the pharmacists use, they also use those herbs, but then they add other stuff to it. And the difference between the traditional medicine versus the natural medicine is into using non-toxic things for the body so that the body can heal itself. And these, what I call health investigations, to find root causes, because if you find the root to the cause, then you have a cure.
Right.
So the root cause is will give you the answers, and then you can use different methods or things to help with the healing. It's very, 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 very crucial to have, or crucial to your healing, to have a thorough, comprehensive history of the person that you're helping, because they're basically clues. If you think about a criminal investigation, okay, the private detective comes to the house and he asks questions to this person, that person, and then he doesn't get all the answers at one moment. So he's
Mhm.
continually collecting the data, and creating a whole picture. And then also another thing that I like to do is to actually give the person a blank tape so that they can record themselves, because really I truly believe, this is my personal way of helping people, be the person who you're helping knows what's wrong with them. You just have to ask the right questions to get it out. And for it taking as long, like in my situation, waiting 2 years in order to be able to lie down and not have that gas and that bloating from the reflux condition that I had, that it really is going to come down to your faith in God, to trust in it, because it's easy for us. See, I was in that system for over 20 plus years. So that's what I knew. And
Mhm.
I knew all the protocols for this, that, and the other of the things that I needed to do. So when most of the traditional medicine is it's based on protocols. There's actual things that you're supposed to do when you have a certain situation. And if you don't follow those protocols, you will be held accountable for it, even to the extent of having your license being taken away in a peer review. You have to go to before your peers, and they have to ask you questions, and they'll say, well, why didn't you prescribe the statin drug or the cholesterol drug with at discharge, Dr. So and so. And you actually can get in trouble for doing that, and next thing you know, you've been in school for 12, 15 years, and you build a career, and it's out the window because you didn't follow the protocol. And unfortunately, those are things. And unfortunately, traditional medicine, the way the offices are set up, is that they may schedule like 60 patients for the clinic that day. And you go in and you're waiting in the waiting room for an hour. And then you go in the room and wait another hour. And then wait another 15, 20 minutes for the doctor to come in for 5 minutes to see you, because you're just in and out, in and out. So they're not really taking the time, or really don't have the time. Unfortunately, we live in a sick care system. It's not really a health care system. It's a sick care system. And so we basically have to have the mindset of, I have to fend for myself. I need to be able to make sure that I'm taking care of myself the best that I can. And we have, those of you who haven't heard of the laws of health, we have this acronym called New Steps. And these are the principles of health that we should be following to help our body to have optimal health. And leaving one or two out will not give you optimal health. It'll just, you'll just be cheating yourself in the long run. But that acronym, New Steps, the N is for nutrition, E is for exercise, W is to make sure you're getting a sufficient amount of water. The S is also for
I think
sleep.
sleep. Yeah. I think the Holy
Um,
Spirit is working because we have a guest speaker who's actually going to speak about that later on.
okay. Yes.
You
So
can,
it's a list of 8 principles, essential principles that you need to actually take care of your body. And what I like to reverse the things that we do to our body by violating those principles, like not getting enough water, not getting enough sleep, and eating the things that are not good for our body. In my case, I was violating the law of nutrition. I would eat healthy foods, but then in addition to that, I was addicted to sugar and also the caffeine, the sweet tea. So I would buy the big gallons of sweet tea, and I didn't share earlier, but I actually end up getting a 5.5 centimeter tumor in my stomach, in addition to that reflux disease. And so with having all of that plus the reflux, and it was making my heart race, and me having short episodes of being short of breath, and you go to the ER and they don't know what's wrong with you, and they can't tell you what it is, and they'll say it's not your heart, it's not this, it's not that, the labs don't show this or that. And long story short, I end up actually being toxic. I was I had lots of toxins in my body, so I had to when I met this physician, naturopathic doctor in Tennessee, who was actually retired, and he was actually doing this out of the goodness out of his heart, which I had. God knew exactly what I needed, because his son, who is also a naturopathic doctor, was only 30 minutes away from me, but he didn't have the time for me to be in his house and be one-on-one,
Yeah.
but his father did, and I didn't even know him at that time. So, but back to the 3 R's. When you're reversing the things that we do to our body, I realized that there's 3 R's that play an important role in what we need to do. First, we need to remove what it is that we're doing that is harming the body.
Mhm.
You remove that. Um, and then, so that means to get rid of the junk food or whatever you're doing. If you're not getting enough water, then you need to start drinking more water. And so you remove, then you start repair. The repair process may be like taking some natural herbs to get rid of the bacteria in your stomach, which caused the tumor, you know, and then that'll start help relieving some of the symptoms. So you remove, repair, and then you replenish. Because if you start replenishing first, then what's going to happen? If you don't remove the thing that caused it in the first place, and you start, you're not helping yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because you're not getting to the core of the the um the situation. And
Yeah, if you're
natural,
replenishing first before you remove, it's like taking something good and putting it into something poisonous. The poison, which is probably more at the time, the poisonous part. So that is more likely to kill whatever good thing that you're putting in. That's how I see it. I don't know.
yes, it's so. For example, my situation, I had a tumor. I
Uh-huh.
also had this bacteria called H. pylori, which is a bacteria that's linked to the specific stomach tumor that I had. So so if your root cause is bacteria in your stomach, and the root cause is your caffeine and your sugar, the caffeine that's destroying the lining of your stomach, okay, that leaves you vulnerable for the bacteria, and then the bacteria which helps initiate the tumor. Then you got the sugar that's on top of that that's helping it to grow. So you see
Mhm.
how that works. So
Mhm.
I need to remove my caffeine and my sugar. And I need to start drinking water, right? Water is what I call the most forgotten nutrient. Water is so important. Your body is so heavily in water. It's composed of water, and the cells, just like a plant, when you don't give a plant water, it withers, correct?
Right.
So if you don't put water in your body, your cells dry up.
Mm.
It dries up and it withers like a flower that's not getting water. And so what happens is that dehydrated cell now has to revert to a alternative method to try to extract water. That's why earlier I talked about that you may have 4 different people that may have a high blood pressure, but different reasons for each person. So let's say you're violating the law of getting enough water, adequate water. You need water to hydrate your cells. The importance of that is that your DNA, your messenger RNA, will tell your immune system, white blood cell army, to go and find that bad tumor and go fix it and get rid of it, right? But if you're not getting enough water, the message, the communication is dismantled. So your cells are not saying, hey, let's go get there. Your cells won't get that, give the signal out and the codes to the white blood cells to go and attack it and get rid of it, encapsulate it, and destroy it. So in the situation with not getting enough water and high blood pressure, the body has the natural way for water to get in the cells is by facilitated diffusion. So it takes a piggyback ride into the cells. But when you're not getting enough water, the body reverts to a reverse osmosis. So then it is pulling water single file, you know, out of it's drawing water. And what happens when that is taking place, you have this neurotransmitter, vasopressin or hormone. It can be used interchangeably as a hormone or a neurotransmitter, but that vasopressin message to go out there, what that does is it constricts the vessels, and that's why the water is coming out single file. And so that physiological response then causes the blood pressure to go up, because it's that hormone is released, that vasopressin, that constricts the vessels. So someone can have high blood pressure simply because they're not drinking adequate amount of water.
Wow.
Yeah. So you remove you have to do a thorough, comprehensive assessment of yourself, of all systems, because the body works in a synergistic method or system where no body part acts alone. Every body part is works together to make optimal health. So you have to, that's why when you go to the doctor's office, they ask not only for your history, but also for your family history. But it's not really only looking for genetics or heredity. It's looking for what are people in your immediate family dying of? What did your mother die of, or your father die of, or your grandmother, and what diseases run in your family? And then you can start asking questions, and your questions will be based on the information that you collect from each person and everything. That's why it's still important to go to your doctor, because if you get your lab work and your x-rays or ultrasounds where you can see in the body. See, if I didn't go to the doctor and get an ultrasound, then I would have never knew that there was a tumor in there.
Right.
They can take labs all day and your labs will be fine, but that doesn't mean that you don't have something in the body. So it's still important to seek your doctor, and you can then choose, after you find out what your diagnosis is, and then choose to use natural medicine. It's not that the pharmacist is not using um, plant medicine. They're just adding things. The difference between the natural and the traditional medicine or the pharmaceutical medicine is that the pharmaceutical medication is causing something else to happen in the body that's not good for you.
Mm.
So, for instance, Tylenol, it will take away your pain and your headache, but also it's destroying your liver and your kidney cells. So that's why they tell you to drink plenty of water if you're taking Tylenol. So if you're a person who you're not drinking enough water in the first place, and then you start taking Tylenol because you're getting headaches all the time, then you're increasing your risks for having other things to happen, like, and those pharmaceutical medication, if you ever look at the side effects that they give you when you go get that medication from the pharmacy, all the there's adverse side effects, and then there's just the so-called regular side effects that happen out of within 100 people average scenario. So you have to think about that. And I like to use the garden method. So if something is not growing in the garden, what does the farmer do? He checks the soil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sees what's deficient in the soil. So that's why I like to have people to get a hair analysis, so that they can see, if you analyze the hair cells, then that's more accurate about what's going on inside the body, because it will not only tell you if you have any toxins inside the body, it also gives you a ratio of your minerals and your vitamins inside the body. So it's really letting you know what's going on inside the body. And you can get a peripheral blood draw. So you go and you get your labs drawn, and they'll say, oh, well, your calcium is within normal. Your labs are fine. Everything is in normal limits. But if you go get a hair analysis and you see the ratio between the electrolytes. So, for instance, sodium and potassium are inverse of each other, meaning that if one is down, the other one goes up. Magnesium and calcium are supposed to be balanced, right? So your calcium and magnesium levels may be in the, quote unquote, the normal range according to the lab. But if you look at the hair analysis and the ratio between the calcium and magnesium, it shows, maybe you're showing a normal on the peripheral blood draw, but on the hair analysis, your magnesium is way up in the air and your calcium is way at the bottom. So, and that's the thing about the body. God made it so that it's always in a state of homeostasis until the day that you die and the last cell stops working. The body is always trying to fix itself, and God made those secondary mechanisms in our body to heal itself. And that's why we were talking earlier or later this past week about, you know, sinus issues. What we like to do when we see certain symptoms, we like to reverse them. Like if you got a runny nose, you want to take a medication to stop the runny nose. If you have a temperature, then you want to take something to lower the temperature. Obviously, if you have something greater than 104 or something 101 and 102, yes, you want to get that down as fast as possible, because you can have seizures and other things happen to you. But on the regular, if we have a headache, we want to take a pill or something. But it could be that you could be toxic, or even constipation can cause frequent headaches, because the body is not releasing those toxins out of the body. It's not eliminating And so your body is reabsorbing those toxins because the colon is to evacuate that waste out of the body. But if you're constipated, that waste is still stuck there. So that is recirculating into your body.
Well, Estrella, we are going to have you come back because this is so much information. We cannot get it in one episode. So don't worry. If our time permits, we're going to try to have at least a second episode where she can get more into like some of those home remedies and get more into what she has begin to speak about. So we're just like giving you a taste, and then you have to tune in for the second one to get the full meal of the different like home remedies and those different things that she's been talking about. Monique, you have anything to add?
I love to know like a detox, because taking so much medication, what I'm getting from you is that the medication has natural herbs, but added to it are toxin that we're literally putting into our body. So I'd like to know a detox when you come back. And if we have time, like Estrella, you don't have to explain each one, but just remind us of the 3 R's, and that should take us out.
Yes. Oh, so are you saying remind you of the 3 R's right now?
Yes, to end, to close off.
Okay, so the 3 R's that you should remember is this: first, to remove the violation that you're doing against your body. And then the second thing is to repair. Start trying to repair with different herbs and poultices and things like that, essential oils, to try to repair the body to a state in which the body can remove things out of your body, and also to help heal. Also, the last one is to replenish. That's when you start putting in the things like it doesn't mean that you start the nutrition later, but if you have, like, let's say if you're anemic and you're pernicious anemia, which is a lack of B12, then you want to start adding B12 into your diet, so that, or if you're low in iron, you want to start adding iron rich foods, so you want to remove, repair, and replenish.
And on
in
that
that
note,
order.
thank you. And on that note, we will see you or speak with you next week.